Okay, this is how I feel inside. Thank God I don't look like that all the time.
Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and Bland Designs, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, August the 30th, 2021, vlog number 231, or the 537th day of COVID. It's hard to believe that we are at the end of August already, and this time next week will be Labor Day, which means that the day after the kids go back to school here in Ontario. And that's going to present us with a lot of new problems, isn't it? And you know what I'm talking about, of course, the spread of COVID. And I have been retired now for almost 10 years. This will be the official start of my 10th year of retirement. But you want to know something? When I go to bed on Monday nights, on Labor Day night, I still don't sleep as well. Because when I was a teacher, excuse me, I gotta clear my throat. Little frog in there, better have some coffee. When I was a teacher, Labor Day, of course, marked the end of the summer for us, and we're going back to work, and you went to bed that night, the day before the first day of school, or the night before the first day of school, and all running through all your head were thoughts about what you had to do. The first day back to school is always hectic, and all your plans for the next semester and the whole bit. It was both exciting and frightening. New group of kids coming in, the whole bit. New challenges to face, whatnot. And you want to know something? Although I haven't been doing that for almost 10 years now, I still have trouble sleeping on Labor Day night. But anyways, let's take a look at what's behind me. And this is my latest creation. And yes, you're going to say, but we saw that last week, didn't we? You did. Well, not this one. You saw the other Christmas quilt that I designed that was made with most of these same fabrics. These are my scraps. These are left over from the other quilt, plus a few extra Christmas scraps I've had since last Christmas. So I put this together. And this is called a crumb quilt. Or some people call it a trash quilt. And it's just basically where you take random pieces of scraps, sew them together whichever way. You don't worry about how straight your seams are. You don't worry about colors matching up or anything like that. You make your blocks that way, and then you assemble a quilt. It's a great way to use up your scraps. I like doing them. Now this one, extremely busy. But as I said last week about my Christmas quilt, sorry about that. I said, more is more when it comes to Christmas fabrics, because after all, let's face it, Christmas is a time to be bright and merry, and that's what this quilt reflects. Now, there is some embroidery in this quilt. In each one of those blocks in the center, there is a quilted design, but I did it on my embroidery machine, and I did it in each block before I sewed the blocks together and put this black sashing between each block. That sashing is there, those strips, just to make each one of the blocks stand out as a separate entity, sort of thing. But it is there. Now, it does add to the quilting, but I haven't quilted this yet. And that's the next stage, and that's to get it all layered, get the backing on, quilt it, and then bind it, and it's done. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. It might be a gift, although I don't know if I gave it to somebody, they might think this is a mess. Especially someone who's not a quilter. So it may not go to anybody. It may just go to my collection of Christmas quilts, because I actually have quite a collection of Christmas quilts now. And you can see I also added a border to this just to make it a little bit bigger. This is a nice size lap quilt. So that's what I was working on in the past week. And I've been working on other things as well, as you will hear soon. So, that takes me to a little gift I got in the mail. My art journaling group, and many of the ladies in that group make ATCs, and they share them, and they always very kindly, even though I don't participate in the ATCs, they do send me a set. So these ones came from Joanne, one of the members in it, and they're great. You can really see the creativity. And you know, I've often said this, but still don't do it, is I have made ATCs in the past, but I don't like making them. For some reason, it's just too small a project for me. But these really allow you to experiment with different techniques and different color combinations and, you know, backgrounds and whatever you want to put on them. And these are all based on a theme. This one is titled Folk Saying. This one she has titled as Watercolor, Camping, Flowers, and Family. So you can see the theme, and it's open to interpretation by the creator. And I think that's what really appeals to a lot of people who make ATCs, because they act as a prompt for creativity. They're inspiring. And these will go in my place of honor, so I will be inspired by them when I'm having some mental blocks or creative blocks as well. So those were really nice. The art journaling group hasn't met during August. We took the month of August off, and we will meet again in September, not for another couple of weeks, because usually we meet on the first Sunday. It's a Zoom meeting of the month, but because Labor Day falls on the same weekend, basically, then we're going to, we just moved it to the next weekend, because, you know, a lot of people do go away, go to their cottage or something on that weekend. Okay, so that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week. Again, if you want to laugh, and who doesn't need a laugh right now? We've needed a lot of laughs for the last 18 months, haven't we? This is one, you may have seen it on YouTube before. There are actually several different channels that feature these, but they're basically funny local news bloopers. So here's what I have to say about that.
This week's YouTube channel of the week is a very funny one. If you want a diversion from everyday life, if you want some silly, nonsensical humor, if you want to laugh at other people's mistakes, then check out Funny Local News. Now, if you take a look at this, the videos that they have here, Best TV News Bloopers Fails 2020, decade of them. There's all kinds here, and this is just an amusing waste of time. The thing is, it's very addictive. You can't believe the things that are said on news that'll make you really laugh your head off. It's just funny. It's just plain funny. So you should check out Funny Local News.
So the link for Funny, what's it called? Short memory. Funny Local News is in the show notes. There's a link for Stephen and Walter Live. We entitled it, although we didn't talk much about this, because there's always other things to talk about. You know, when I plan out what we're going to be doing on each week's episode of Stephen and Walter Live, I always think that's not enough, and we usually do it for about an hour and a half. And so I try to come up with something that's topical that we can talk more about, and oftentimes I never get to it. Well, we did get to it this week. We called it Sports Spreads Disease because of an event that happened here in the city I live in. There was a big basketball tournament for a week, and basically there weren't, they say they were, but they really weren't when you see the news story. You know, masks and other things, you know, the stuff we're supposed to do during COVID. No, it was a whole lot of kids from all over Ontario playing basketball. And yeah, they kind of figured that there's probably been 7,000 people infected by COVID because of it. It was a super spreader. And it's just plain stupid. And we talked about that yesterday, so I'm not going to reiterate what we talked about then. You can check that out if you see the replay of Stephen and Walter Live. There is also a link to last week's So Chatty. Now, this is another thing. It is sometimes hard to come up with a topic for So Chatty, because I feel like we're repeating stuff that's already out there at times. But we decided to show what's in our junk drawers, because everybody has a junk drawer. Well, from the comments we've been getting on that, people were absolutely attracted to that topic, which was a surprise to me. So yeah, if you like junk, check that out. And yeah, okay, that's so. Oh, there's a very important link. This week is the first Wednesday of the month. Actually, September the 1st falls on Wednesday, and that's the first Wednesday of the month. And you know what happens then? We have Craft and Chat. Craft and Chat. We get together, whoever wants to. Doesn't matter who you are, and we work on whatever we want to work on. Somebody said to me yesterday, can I just sit there and not work on anything? Yeah. If that does it for you, you can do that. But basically gives us an opportunity to have about 3 hours of uninterrupted, usually, time to work on whatever we're working on and to relax as we do it, not get into any kind of drama about anything, friendly conversation. I always learn a lot from the other people that show up for this, and I usually get a lot done and I feel very rejuvenated. And lately I've needed to feel rejuvenated, and I'll come to that in a moment. So join us. It's free. It's you don't have to pre-register or anything like that. You just click on the Zoom link that I've put in the show notes. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, runs till about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as I said, about 3 hours. And yeah, all are welcome. So consider it if you've never done it before. There are people that come all the time. They've become regulars when we have this, and yeah, we're slowly growing. It's not a lot of people. I think last time there was about 12 of us, but that's okay. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. Yeah, everybody says that, right? But no, that's fine. It's just fun. Okay, so that takes me to something a little bit more serious, and I'm really not sure how to venture into this topic, but I am because this is a very personal topic to me. Lately, I have been feeling a little down, so a little depressed. Who isn't? A little anxious, not in a good way. A little paranoid, too. You know, there's an awful lot of information about mental health and how COVID has affected everybody's mental health. And I'm one of those kind of people who, not so much now, but I didn't get it. I just kind of thought it was just a whole lot of weak people, okay, there I said it, who just can't cope. You know, get a grip, suck it up, buttercup, all that kind of stuff. Well, no. It is affecting me. I didn't really realize how much it was affecting me until just very recently. First of all, there's things going on in my life right now that are, well, making me question the quality of my life. You see me doing this. I am not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. Okay? Many people who are creative, I have read and heard from, are also that way. But we have this persona that we project. It's a coping thing, I think. It is for me. I figure I have to put myself out there in order to not think about myself in here. Because this is what does it to me. My brain. My brain will dwell on things. And usually it takes some things that are not that major of a problem and dwells on it. And that becomes a problem. It is a mental health issue. It really is. I guess because when you hear about mental health, you think of crazy people. Crazy people. No, I am coming to understand that everybody can be affected by, or their mental health can be affected. Okay, first of all, yes, COVID. It has affected us all. We are tired of it. I am so tired of it. I feel trapped. I feel enclosed. I feel like I'm in a box. I can't get out. I can't do what I want to do. Now, I'm not really sure what that is, what I want to do. If we didn't have COVID, I'd probably be doing the same thing I'm doing right now. Working on my projects, things like that, making YouTube videos, reading, watching my stories, as I like to call them. But it's the idea that there are circumstances beyond my control that are keeping me, if I want to go out, and have lunch somewhere or dinner out, I think twice about doing that. And if I do that on the rare occasion, it creates paranoia in me because I'm checking around me. How many people in this area have COVID or could give it to me? Is everybody wearing their mask? Has everybody filled out the contact information? Are the servers wearing masks? Are the servers washing their hands? Should I be wearing gloves? All of that kind of stuff. So really, when you're going out to eat or to an event, it's not just to restaurants this happens, events or things like that, you feel restricted, whereas we weren't restricted before. So that creates paranoia in me, and paranoia creates anxiety. I start to worry. You watch the news. The news is one of those things that compounds these feelings of anxiousness, of anxiety, of paranoia, because there isn't any good news. I mean, there never was any good news, was there really? I mean, there's a shooting here, there's a hit and run here, there's somebody who's stealing something here. But now, on top of all those usual bad events, we of course have had to listen to, for 18 months, everything about statistics, about, how the COVID curve is rising or declining, how many people are not getting the vaccine and are spreading the disease. It's all doom and gloom. And then you may hear one or two lines saying, well, we're going to fight this thing, we're going to win. Well, after you've heard that repeated over and over so many bloody times, you really don't believe it. And this is where some people come up with conspiracy theories. And I get that too. I am not a conspiracist, but some of these theories that people are talking about are true. Or, well, sound true. See, I said true. That means my brain is starting to get into that. And that's giving me anxiety and fear and panic and the whole bit. Well, not just COVID is doing that. That's a big cause, and everybody's being affected by that. But then I have my mother, and you've heard about my mother, and I dwell way too much about my mother. Am I a mother's boy? No, I'm not. In fact, I'm far from it. And if you listen to Stephen and Walter Live yesterday, you will hear a little bit of a rant in there about my growing up years. And it's going to sound like I'm being sort of having my own little pity party on that. And yes, to a certain extent, I probably am having my own little pity party on it, because I'm not going to get it from anybody else, am I? And but I never know what her condition is going to be. And it weighs on me because I feel responsible. And I feel responsible for making sure that she is comfortable, that she has everything that she needs. And yet, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't seem to be the right thing. And this is another thing. This is turning into a pity party, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Here's another thing. I can never seem to say the right thing. I can never seem to do the right thing. And that's not just with my mother, that's with everything. I am very open, and I don't mean open to I accept it, I mean like a target to criticism. Now, yeah, you put yourself out there as a creator, you're going to get criticism. Funny, this is not the one spot where I get a lot of criticism. But people that I see, places I go, if I talk about my mother, for example, like I go down to my local quilt shop, they ask me how my mother's doing. I tell them. I don't sugarcoat it. I tell them exactly what's been going on. Yeah, she's throwing up. She looks like she's going to die, kind of a thing. And, I say a few other things. Then I get a criticism from them. People say, well, no, now, Stephen, don't say that about your mother. Well, no, the older people get to that. You have to understand. You see, it's like everybody feels they need to give me an education about things. They make me feel stupid. They really do. My own family has made me feel stupid over the years. I mean, my father used to say, he'd introduce me to some of his friends at something. He'd go, yeah, this is my son. He's a high school English teacher. He's the head of the department. He can't spell. Thank you, Dad. And he would do that repeatedly. I could never do anything as a kid that was good enough for my parents or for anybody else. My brother and sister used to make fun of me, and yet I'm the oldest one. Aren't I supposed to make fun of them? You know, as the older one, you do that, called teasing. No, I got it from them. Yep, here I go into the pity party again. So I'm going to back off from all of those things. But what I'm going to say is right now, mentally, I'm not feeling well. Okay? I know I'm not alone. I know there's other people out there they're in a lot worse shape than I am. I'm just moving on with my life every day. I don't really see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that's what's putting me into despair. They're saying that with this COVID thing, this is going to be the worst fall and winter with COVID in comparison to what we've already gone through. I used to think there was a light at the end of the tunnel. If there is a light at the end of the tunnel, it's very dim. And I don't know what to do about it. So somebody suggested yesterday that I seek therapy. Well, I come from the school of thought that therapy is administered by quacks. I grew up hearing that from my parents. But I know lots of people have found therapy very helpful. I don't even know where to begin if I wanted to do therapy. I don't want therapy. I don't need somebody else trying to analyze what I'm feeling and giving me, well, you know, what you have to do is take it one day at a time. Yeah, I hate that expression. What does that mean? Take it one day at a time. Aren't we all taking it one day at a time? I can't live a week at a time. So that is just a stupid expression. It's something people say to you when they don't know what else to say to you. Other people, say, take time for yourself. What is that? What is that? Take time for yourself. Really? I have responsibilities. I just can't cut them off. And what would I do with time for myself? I'm retired. I don't have any children. All my time is myself. People say get involved. Volunteer. Yeah, well, under COVID restrictions, that's very difficult right now, isn't it? For one thing. And when you volunteer, they're always talking about like when you feel like you're doing something useful. Well, I have volunteered before and I have done things, and quite frankly, as a volunteer, people who volunteer, I admire them, but they really get the short end of the stick, don't they? Because volunteer means volunteer-free labor to do dirty jobs more than anything else. So, none of this is working for me right now. Now, I don't want you to think that I am so depressed that I'm going to go out and cut my wrists or something like that, or OD on pills. No, I'm not at that stage. But I can also say that I'm not particularly happy right now. And there's only one thing I can do about this, and that's get a grip. And yeah, I'm the only one that can control this. Nobody else can control it. So that's why I don't put a lot of faith in therapy. I suppose if you could talk about your problems to somebody else who's supposed to be neutral, non-judgmental about it, that, just getting things off your chest will help. I don't know. I think that could open up a floodgate. And once you open that up, I don't think you can ever close it again. There isn't a cure for this. And the reason I'm talking about it is because I don't think I'm alone. I think other people are going through all of this themselves too, for a variety of reasons. COVID doesn't help it either. So what's my bottom line about all of this? I don't know. I haven't got one. If I had an answer, I'd share it, but I don't have an answer. And I'm not looking for other people to give me the answer. I suppose I should fall back heavily on a philosophy that I've used in the past, and that is, this too shall pass. I hope it does, and I hope it does soon. So, that's enough about that, because I think I've probably depressed everybody now. And that wasn't my intent, but I'm sure that's the effect I've had. Okay, let's get off this and move right on, shall we? Product review. Don't really have anything new to show you. I did buy some backing fabric the other day at Ultimate Sewing, but it's just for this quilt. It looks like Christmas fabric. No big deal there. I may show it on the Idiot Quilter tomorrow when I do that episode. The other thing I bought was another Yeti. No, I don't mean the Abominable Snowman or Bigfoot. I mean a microphone. Last week I discovered I was wasn't pleased with the sound quality of my videos. So I already had a Yeti microphone system, but it's hooked up in my sewing room because I use it when I'm on Zoom with that. And it means that when I do Stephen Walter Live, or even this my vlog. Oh, God, my brain. Yeah, I have different microphones, but I tried the Yeti with this last week. It worked out pretty good, but the problem is I have to unhook it all from the equipment in the other room, and that's a pain in the butt. So I decided that I would buy another Yeti. They're not expensive, but they're not cheap. They're about $150 on Amazon with tax. Okay, so I bought it. It came yesterday, and that's what we used for the first time with Stephen and Walter Live. And I think the sound, when I looked at the replay on it, came out pretty good. Now, you notice I'm wearing a microphone today. My one wired microphone system died. I thought I had it fixed. I didn't have it fixed. This is the same system pretty much, except there's two microphones, because when we do So Chatty, this is what we use. So I can hook a microphone up to Walter and one up to me at the same time, and they go to the one source. I'm not using the Yeti because now I have it kind of semi-permanently fixed into my main computer. So I'm using this and hoping this works out okay. I do have wireless microphones. They're cheap, and they are really cheap. The sound quality in them sucks majorly. So I have a quest, figuring out what the ultimate system is. I think what I really need is a studio where I could have like better camera equipment, everything set up at my fingertips, a mixing board and all that. That's not going to happen because, one, I don't have the room in my house to put something like that in, and two, that means a major investment in a lot of equipment that I am not prepared to do. So I carry on with trying to improve all the little things that I'm doing, and we'll see how that works out. But I am happy that I decided to buy the second Yeti because it is a great microphone for this kind of thing, even though I'm not using it today. So that's all that I bought this week. Yeah, not much, eh? Real exciting. So let's go to 3D Corner. Okay, so I told you that Walter and I have been asked to help with the programming for the possibility of a physical quilting retreat in March of 2022 with Ultimate Sewing. We've done it before. So I have been looking over my notes from the last time we did this kind of thing and trying to improve on them and learning from my mistakes from the last time. And I've created an event which is essentially people taking scrap fabric, making a block for an imaginary quilt kind of a thing, and it'll be a little contest, and there will be some winners. People will get to vote on the blocks they like the best, and the winner has got to receive something. So I designed a trophy for this. Now, I'm going to show you various prototypes that I don't like, first of all. I had this idea that this would be really cool. It doesn't print well. There's a lot of problems with printing this. This part with the sewing machine up here has to be glued on, printed separately. Well, actually, this part's printed separately too from the base part. Yeah, it's just, she's too fragile. She'll just break off if you blow on her, pretty much. So that one does not work. Then I thought, well, I wanted to get that sewing machine idea in there, so I did this. Okay, this one printed out not too badly, but you have to have what they call supports in here, and this did break. I had to glue it off of that. So one thing I did like about the base, though, it's got this raised part out here that you could put like an inscription on in some manner, but that one is a reject. Then I started playing with the idea of using the base on this and with my famous thimbles that I make and create something like this. And this I liked a little better. Why? Because this could become a pin cushion as well. So you have a combination, a trophy that people get but they can also use. But this is too small. I tried another iteration of that, a different base, which I kind of like it because this base is a little bit more fancy, but the fancier you get, the longer it takes to print. Also, if I was to actually do this one, I'd have to make the whole thing a little bigger and make this thimble a little bigger so it fills this round ring area a little better. Again, though, also a pin cushion. So I did take that idea, I did blow it up, and I did make it into a pin cushion, and here it is. I did this out of rainbow, and it's okay, but I kind of forgot to make the thimble a little bigger on this one, so proportionally it doesn't quite work. Also, this one took over a day to print. I mean, like 26 hours. So I did this version, and it's using that base in rainbow, bigger thimble, and you can see here I've actually put in the pincushion pad for it. Again, it's still a prototype, but this is the one I'm leaning towards. So I took all of these in to show them to Donna, who works at Ultimate Sewing and is in charge of putting the retreat together, to see what she liked best, and we went with this one. So I can start making these. Now, these are, I'm only probably going to need to make 2, maybe 4 of these. I have to figure out a different way to inscribe on here. This is just a clear, one of those brother label makers. I made this label on here. I want to see if I can find something or figure out a way to actually have a plate that's made that I can put on here, that I can make, a 3D printed kind of a thing. I'll have to do some experimentation again with that, but I do have a fair amount of time, because if this thing actually happens, which I'm not so sure it's going to happen or not, it doesn't happen until March of 2022, so I've got a few months from that yet to play with this. So that's where I'm going with these right now. Now, I also got the idea, not this particular one, but these little thimbles that I can make, I thought it might be nice to make one of these as a pin cushion, not with the base, just the thimble, maybe slightly bigger, to give to each person that goes to the retreat as a little gift from me to them, kind of a thing. So I haven't started making them yet. Donna thought that was a great idea, so she's going to supply me with pins for it, because I'm running out of pins from all those pin cushions that I've made, and that's what I'm going to start on soon. I've actually got it set up so that I can do 8 of these thimbles at a time. I'll probably need about 32 of them. So what's that? 4 times 8 is 32. So that works out to about 4 or 5 days of printing of those, barring any disasters that happen along the way. And there probably will be some disasters that'll happen along the way. You have to anticipate it. But again, I have time. So I'll get started on those soon. But I have to finish the pin cushions, my Christmas pin cushions that are going to go with the table toppers that you've seen before. And I have a couple of friends coming out from out west, and they're going to visit us. And, well, I thought I'd make them something. One of those people's into cats and sewing, so I have created a cat pincushion. Now, this is not the one I'm going to give to her. I've done another one where I refined it a little bit, and I haven't got the pincushion part in it yet, and it's made out of gold. This is supposed to be rainbow, but as I've told you before, the rainbow doesn't, the colors in the strands, it there's a big space between colors, so you don't really get a true rainbow effect. You get a little bit of a gradient, but that's about it on those. But I thought, I'll do it in gold instead of rainbow, and it'll just be, a little bit more elegant. And for my other friend who's into photography and that kind of stuff, I have done one. Now I can't show it to you because it's still on the printer, but it is of a camera, which is attached to the thimble. But it's not going to be a pin cushion because he does not sew. So it's going to be a pencil holder. And I'm not sure if the one I just made is going to be big enough. I may have to enlarge it for that. So that's why I can't show it to you yet, because I'm still playing with the prototype. So I've been doing that. And I made another Tudor house, but you've seen one Tudor house, you've seen them all. I think I'm over them now. Yeah, that was a novelty for me for a while. So I don't know what other things I'm going to do beyond what I've already told you, but we'll have to see. So, yep, that's about all I have to show you there in the 3D printer. My two 3D printers are working very well, knock wood, with them. And I am glad that I did buy a second one. I really am. Now I've been looking at bigger ones. No, let's hold back, shall we? Okay, so what's that take us to? Yeah, let's go on a little trip. Blast from the past. Here is a continuation of our last Australian trip in 2019. And this is another one about the Gold Coast that we did on March the 25th, 2019. So I'm going to insert that here.
Well, this is our second day in the Gold Coast. And if you look at it here, this is early morning. Well, not that early. It's 8:34. And you can see the beach and everything else here, and it feels like it's going to be a hot day. It's already, I don't know what it is already, but it feels hot in here. So today we have several adventures to go on. We're going to go off to a fabric store that's not too far away from here called Phoebe's. It's supposed to be one of the largest ones in Australia according to their website, and see if we can find any unique Australian fabrics there for a quilt.
Okay, so Walter's trying to negotiate his way out from this underground parking garage here at the hotel, because we're on our way to Fifi's fabric store to look for Australian quilting fabric and whatever, if we get out of this place. Take on a little ride along off to Fifi's. What a name, Fifi. Hello, we are Fifi, we have fabric.
Remember that one that tried to get her...
Yeah, dog neutered. Yeah. The thing is here, we weren't sure what to do when there was an emergency vehicle coming down behind us, because in our country you'd pull over to the right and stop, but we were in the furthest right hand lane, and he's coming up the center, and
That's true.
it gets you thrown off a little bit. Same rules, I'm sure, apply. You're just on the opposite side of the road. So anyways, hope we don't get too many of those, because that's when I start to yell at Walter to stop, go this way or whatever. Then he gets all flustered and we end up in who knows what. Anyways, just a little, Fifi. Years ago, when we had answering machines, this is back before the time of real voicemail and stuff like that, we kept getting this call on our answering machine during the day. Some woman was calling because she wanted to neuter her Fifi. And I took it that her Fifi was probably I don't know what kind of dog. Yeah, whether it was a poodle or not. But she goes, hello, my name is, and I never did, I can't remember what she said her name was. I need to make arrangements to have my Fifi neutered. And so we just sort of ignored it, but the calls kept coming. And we found out...
And she was getting upset.
She was getting very upset. And she obviously did not speak English all that well. So I tried to figure out what number she was calling, and I don't know how I did it, but eventually found out that the local veterinarian had put out business cards, and they had put the wrong number on. It was a typo, and it was our telephone number. So this woman thought she was calling the vet to neuter her Fifi. And, well, we got that straightened out. But, no, we don't neuter. Sorry, not our job. So anyways, when we heard this fabric store's name was Fifi, well, we just carry a joke forever. So we're on here. We've got about 3.2 kilometers before we turn down some other street. And this gives you an idea of what the area around the Gold Coast sort of looks like. And whether or not Walter's trying to scrape me off on the left-hand side. Takes him a little while to keep in the right lane. The left lane, the right lane, I don't know.
Now, if I keep the line in that corner, then I'm okay.
Oh, okay, good to know, because really don't want to hit anything. Yep, off to Fifi.
Upstairs.
Okay, so we just got back from Fifi's Fabricology. Is that what it's called? Fabricology?
Yeah.
Whatever. And we got some uniquely Australian type fabrics, prints. I'm not going to take them out of the bag because they got them all nicely sealed up. But let's just say that I've got here, I think, approximately 10 or 12 half meters. And then there's a couple of fat quarters and a couple of
Small jelly rolls.
small jelly rolls as well. So this all came to about $300 and some odd Canadian for that. But these are all fabrics we picked because they are unique to Australia. It was a huge fabric store, and I didn't think to take any video when we're in there. They had all kinds of things to pick through as well, and they were very nice. And they're online apparently too, and we'll ship to Canada. I don't know what they charge for shipping, but they mark it all like the value is only $20, so you don't get nailed at customs when it goes through. But I wanted something unique. Thank you. Now your shadow just went over my fabric. Walter's shadow. So yeah, that was fun. So I've got fabric to make a quilt when we get home at some point that's Australian based. So we've discovered where all the prostitutes hang out here on the Gold Coast. And we're heading over here to this big mall. It's supposed to be a big place to see what's there. And so we're in this Pacific Mall kind of thing. And Walter's checking out the directory. Dining. Betting some boat. Betty's Burgers, Bin 232, Book Trays, Bread Tot, Cafe Cherry Beans, that's where we came in. Grilled, there's a grilled.
Mad Max.
Mad Max. You are here, it's down there somewhere.
I think it looks like it might be a food court.
Yeah.
Looks
Looks like they all point to the same place.
Yeah.
Betty's Burgers. So what's this to mobile?
Enter your mobile number.
Well, walk down.
So it's way
Way
down
up
the
there.
other end. Bread, it's either here or there.
Yeah. Okay, just walk.
Just take a look.
Giant chemist. Ooh, for your big drugs. Book face. This is book face place here.
So looks like that sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah, it's a bookstore as well.
They even have a comic store.
Bentley's. Candy time.
Kind of almost looks like
Looks like it's open air. This part of it. Telescope. Kids play this way. It is open air. Or something over the top of it.
Yeah. Kind of reminds you of that place in Fort Lauderdale. That big outlet mall. Yeah. And no Americans. What?
Watch where you're pointing that thing. It's going all over the place.
I know where it's going.
Oh, okay.
Do you know where it's going?
Betty's Burgers.
So we're at the Outback restaurant, which says it's Australian. When we hear Outback, we assume the States, but maybe not. Here's their menu. I have a fair variety, but I think we're both going for the chicken Cobb salad with the crispy chicken. And I'm going to try, I've never heard of this dressing, red onion and lime dressing. It's the lime that gets me. It's a good place.
Yeah, I wonder what that's like, red onion and lime.
It's what?
I wonder what that's like, the red onion and lime.
Well, like red onion and lime. It's probably oniony. Oniony.
I might get that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have. I'm gonna try that. Okay, so this will be an easy order. So we'll see what we see. So what's the temperature
33.
in Brisbane?
Well, it's in Brisbane, so Gold Coast 32.
32.
Sunny.
These are called, what are they called? Big blokes.
Yeah.
These beers. So they're what, 651 milliliters?
Yeah, so it's a little over a pint.
And we're going to eat healthy. We ordered salads. Actually, been desperate for
Actually, we've been
salad.
dying for salad.
And that's not something they seem to have much of here. But if you want a burger, you want pizza, it's not a problem. Actually, there's some Indian places around. And some Mexican type style, Tex-Mex or whatever they might call it here.
Apparently, there's a couple of people that died in Florida and from Montreal.
Oh. From what? Heat?
No, they're
Probably shot if they went to the States.
were found dead in their mobile home. Pompano Beach, Florida.
Pompano Beach. Why is that familiar? Is that where...
That's north of where we were staying.
Oh yeah, Pompano Beach. Wasn't that where we went to a thing?
Joanne's or something, yeah.
Oh, nice to see that things are not any better in the States, as usual. And here's our salads. Tons of chicken on it. Assuming there's dressing on it. Another shot of the Pacific Mall. This used to be the largest mall in Queensland, but apparently at Surfers Paradise, there's one now bigger than this. This is quite a size. This is just a small portion of it here. Show. What's on?
Captain Marvel fighting Bohemian Rhapsody. Stars, Buck and Lot, Beach. I read somewhere that they were owned by.
And here's a store that we don't see in Canada anymore. It was there for years and years, and that's Kmart. No longer exists in Canada, and I think it's limited in the States. You might be wondering what Australian children read. Well, here's a few titles that you might like to see. We have got Moms Don't Fart,
It's not my day.
Snot My Day. There's a few others. No One Likes a Fart. Big Green Frog in the Toilet.
Old MacDonald
Heard a Fart. And the sequel, Old MacDonald Had a Fart from the Past. And then we have The Very Cranky Bear, and look at the last name on the writer of this one.
We can get that one in Canada.
Yeah. And personal favorite, Room on the Broom. And
There's also the Bum Book.
oh, and then we have The Bum Book, followed by Rudy Nudie. Okay, do you see a theme? I see a theme here. I don't know, but I think Australians are into bodily functions.
Well, I don't see the poo book.
Oh,
Oh, there's the poo book.
what, they got the poo book? Oh, peekaboo poo. Oh, and Mums Don't Fart. No, we saw Mums Don't Fart. What do you call this kind of tree?
I think it's a
Bilboa tree? Whatever. Right here in the middle of the mall. If you want a little nightlife, you can always go to Dracula's Dinner Theater. Supposed to be comedy and whatnot. Yeah. This is the mall we were just in. You can see there's a river that runs round by the side of it.
It's our hotel in the distance. On the other way. Behind the bushes.
Oh, up there. Yeah, behind the bushes. Okay, so we're sitting out on the deck right now. It's around 3:15 in the afternoon. Just come back from our little shopping spree. Well, mostly shop looking at that big mall as you saw in the video before. And Walter's doing, what are you doing?
I'm going back inside to get my iPad.
Oh, he's going back in to get his iPad. So I think I'll be making this into today's entry and posting it. I hope you're enjoying those videos from past trips as well. I'm kind of enjoying revisiting them because I haven't watched them in a while. And of course, the one thing they do, well, they make me feel happy because they bring up happy memories. Okay? And travel should do that for you. So I'm hoping that vicariously you can live through my videos and get into a happy place. When we can all travel again, that'll be great. So what happened in the last week? Update on my mother. I'm not going to dwell on it. I talked about it extensively yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live. She's not well. She's failing. She's still on oxygen. She's in bed. We went over to visit her on Tuesday this past week. We were there 5 minutes. She was up in the wheelchair on oxygen, but I thought, hey, this is positive. She's not laid out in bed. No. 5 minutes into the visit, she's decided she had to be sick. And I say she decided because she did. She can make herself sick, and that's what she was doing. So off they came and looked after her and asked her if she wanted to go back to bed. She said yes. End of visit. Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about that, because already what I've told you about my mental health, this is a major contributor to the negative side of my mental health. Okay. So usually at this time I've got something to show you with Wally Cooks, but he didn't. He had the week off from cooking, I guess. It wasn't really a plan, but I pretty much cooked all week. He would debate whether or not what I do is cooking, but anyways. But one thing that I did do, and you know, on Wednesdays we usually have Avante Wednesday, which is our Italian night. We named it after a restaurant that we really liked, that we, in the better times, we used to go to, and usually on a Wednesday. So we try to do something Italian on Wednesday nights. Well, Walter found some veal,
Well, it wasn't like it was on the floor in a grocery store. When I say found, you can't get veal, we have found, very readily anymore. At least not in most grocery stores. And it's expensive too. Used to be veal was always expensive, but it's just in the last few years it just doesn't seem to be as available, and we do like veal. And I have a great recipe for veal piccata. Well, he found some veal, bought some veal, brought it home, and I do piccata quite a bit, but I do it with chicken. It's good. I like it. It's one of those recipes I could call my signature recipe because I think I pretty much have perfected it and can do it in my sleep. So I wanted to do something a little different. So I look for Italian veal recipes or veal Italian recipes or something like that. And I found one that is actually very close to veal piccata, but it was slightly different. And I did that. I made some fettuccine alfredo to go with it. And I did a salad as well with a balsamic vinaigrette dressing. Again, another recipe that I found for that. Kind of ironic because we have a bottle of balsamic vinaigrette salad dressing commercially bought in our fridge. But I thought I'd try this recipe, and you want to know something? It's okay, but just use the bottled stuff because it tasted the same as that. But anyways, it was a really nice meal, and Walter picked us up a couple of nice bottles of wine. And as I said yesterday, we're so used to drinking the stuff out of a box. Now, we don't buy the really cheap stuff in a box, okay? It just comes in a box. But there's something about getting a nice bottle of wine, and it was red, that just makes you think the stuff in the box is ick. Well, thought that was the way it was going to be. He picked up a bottle of wine, that's our favorite. We don't buy it very often because it's like $20 a bottle. And I know for those of you that are fine connoisseurs of wine, you're going, that's cheap. But for us, we tend to stay away from the expensive bottles because we're not fine connoisseurs of it. We chug it. So, we don't sit around, sip it and go, ooh, the bouquet smells like cherries and oak and a cough drop or something like that. No, we just, yum. But it tasted bitter. Now, I don't know if it was off or it's just us that were off, but we really didn't like it. We didn't enjoy it. In fact, the second bottle of red wine, yes, we had two, tasted a lot better, and it was a lot cheaper. It was only $8 a bottle for it. And it's another one that we have bought on a regular basis. It's an Australian wine as well. McQuiggan's, I think it McKeegan, was something like that. It's a Mac somebody or other. So I was a little disappointed in that. But dinner turned out pretty good. So, high praise from Walter. He said, yeah, it was good. So that's, if he tells you something is good, that's 5 stars. If he says it's fine, you never make it again. That's a 0, okay, on the scale. So I didn't take any video, though, of me cooking because I was cooking and didn't think about it. So anyways, so you're not going to see anything. Take my word for it. It was great. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, I've already talked about Craft and Chat. This Wednesday, September the 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Zoom link is in the show notes. But I am going to have an Idiot Quilter retreat at the end of the month, end of September. It will be September the 24th and 25th. Now, the September 24th event is not actually the retreat itself. It is an icebreaker. So for those who are planning to attend the retreat, they can meet other people. It's a cocktail party, a virtual cocktail party. We'll do it on Zoom. It'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You bring your favorite snack, your favorite beverage, and also bring along a creation that you can show. So we can have sort of a little show and share session. There might be a game or two I'm thinking about doing as well. And it's just going to be kind of relaxed, a party kind of a deal to kick off the retreat. The next day, September the 25th, will be the actual retreat. The retreat will run from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time till 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unlike the retreat I had in the springtime, which was a little bit more formal in its structure. I mean, I had people register for it. And, you know, I had prizes, I had guest speakers and things like that. This is not as elaborate, okay? This is more like craft and chat. Now, there will be there'll be a little demo on how to make a fabric Christmas star, which is also translatable into a paper star for those that are paper crafters. I'm going to demo that. I have a little video that I'm going to show about that I found on the internet, and it's not copyrighted. In fact, the person who put it up said you could share it with anybody that you wanted to, and it's very good about the history of quilting. And it, like, I learned a lot when I watched that because, yeah, it's very good. So I might put that up as well. We're going to have show and share throughout the day, which is going to involve, you know, this came from a suggestion that someone made after the last retreat I had, where you get to see what people have been working on all day long as well, if they want to show it. And I'm going to ask for people to send me a picture of a favorite creation. And I'm going to put together as a slideshow, and so that'll be shown during the day as well. I said there weren't going to be any prizes. That's not completely true. I am not going to sponsors or get sponsors to donate prizes like I had last time, because basically the sponsors I would be going to would be the same ones from last time, and they were more than generous, and I don't want to, you know, wear them out for this kind of thing. So I'm going to have a draw, random draws, for, I think I'm probably going to do 5 $20 gift certificates from Amazon. And that's what I'm going to provide. Does this retreat cost anything? No, it's absolutely free. Do you have to pre-register? No, you do not. You can just show up. It's like craft and chat. Now, I can accommodate about 95 people. I might only have 2 people show up. I don't know, but it's going to be on a first come, first serve basis. So if you're really interested, make sure you connect as soon as I open it up on that day. You can come and go as you please with it throughout the day. And it's just going to be for some fun with it all. Now, if you were at the last retreat that I did in the spring, I still have your email address for my list, and I will be sending out the official invitation to this with all the details this coming Wednesday to the people on that list. However, if you're not on that list because you didn't come to the last one, don't despair. You're still welcome to come to this one, and I will have in my show notes starting next week. I think I'm going to start it next week. Yes, I am. On my vlog, on the Idiot Quilter, on So Chatty, and on Stephen and Walter Live, I will have the link for both the cocktail party and for the retreat in there as well. Now, if you are interested in attending this, though, if you wouldn't mind, please send me an email letting me know you are interested. That's not a commitment, okay, or anything like that. It just gives me an idea of how many people I might expect on that day. So, yes, I'm taking a chance here. Like I said, I could have full house or I could have a couple out of this. I don't know. But the reason I'm doing it this way is it's easier in the planning, for one thing. I did think about charging people a non-refundable registration fee. I talked about that before. I am not doing that. The logistics of doing something like that, because I'm not a business, getting money to me, no. Also, even though I was going to use that money to buy gifts, prizes and things like that, I kind of thought, well, here you are, you've paid for your prize out of it all. I'm not doing this to make money for myself or anything like that. In fact, it's going to cost me a little money for the prizes I'm going to have, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm doing it because I think it's fun. That's what I want. I want to have some fun with it all. And given what I've already talked about mental health, don't we all need a break, a fun thing, something to look forward to? So I hope you will be able to join us for that. And I'll say more about it, probably to the point of where you'll get so tired of hearing me talk about it up until the date of it. But just a reminder again, Icebreaker Cocktail Party for the retreat, September 24th, 7 p.m. till approximately 9 p.m. Actual retreat, September the 25th. That's a Saturday, by the way. Okay, I put it on a weekend. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. First come, first serve. Have fun. Okay? If you have any questions about it or suggestions or things, please feel free to leave comments in the show notes or send me an email directly. Okay, so I think that's it. Anything else to tell you? Nope, nothing else to tell you. So I hope to see some of you this coming Wednesday, September the 1st for Craft and Chat. And, well, we'll see the rest of you at some point. So have a great week and don't go crazy. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.